Another banger from Common Ostrich is now loading. We're just finishing up some stuff backstage. Oh cool, look, spinning gun.
Mission 1.
I'm not about that life, sorry.
Sit down, stand up, and sit. Or sit down and stand.
Almond eyes on close-set eyebrows. His lower third is wide. His lips are full. His nose is fairly straight.
FBI, open up! Thank you.
This cave is not a natural formation.
Counter-terrorists win.
Well, I'm at 2 left.
Mission complete.
This is the Ruger Mini-14. I bought this rifle in 2020, and looking at the serial number, it was manufactured in 2019. I bought it for $600, so someone returned it after a year or less than a year of ownership because they had issues with it. So I got it for, half off to about 2/3 off of MSRP. When I bought it, it had really inconsistent ejection. Every couple of rounds I'd fire wouldn't fully eject and the gun would jam up. I didn't shoot it a whole lot. I kind of just bought it to have it and then put it in the safe with the rest of my guns and didn't touch it much after the first range day. As I've run this gun more, especially recently, as I've pulled it out of storage and tried to put it through the paces and justify buying it, I've realized that the malfunctions are not due to any sort of braking period. Looking into the action, I was able to notice that it was the ejector bolt lock, part number 26, that was, it looked like it was out of spec or it was malfunctioning, and it wasn't properly engaging the spent brass, and it wasn't ejecting the rounds. I was able to fix this myself with a 0.02-inch shim that I made out of a random piece of metal that I had laying around. I contacted Ruger and they sent me a new ejector bolt lock. I installed it. The rifle has been pretty much perfect since then, minus some issues with aftermarket magazines. But that's another issue, is the magazines. Aftermarket magazines for this rifle are just garbage. I've never had an issue with factory mags, but the aftermarket ones, it's a crapshoot. You don't know what you're getting.
The locking lug sheared off on the mag. That mag's toast. Oh, so the mag's...
They're rock and lock. It's not the easiest thing to load. There's a hole in the front of the magazine that you have to lock in, and you have to rock it back into the action. Similar to an AK, but just way worse. Way worse than an AK. They don't always lock in properly, and the factory magazine release sucks. This is an aftermarket mag release by Cogburn Arsenal. I think that this is a necessary upgrade to the rifle. But if you insert the magazine incorrectly, you'll just be able to pull it out without using the mag release. That was the first take, by the way. There's something really enticing about this rifle. It's really fun to shoot. It has a nice recoil impulse, obviously, because it's a 5.56. It's got a nice recoil impulse. But you don't hear the buffer spring compressing, you don't hear the buffer and the BCG coming back. It's something different. It's not an AR-15, and that's what's fun about it. It's got the side charging. It's based off the M1 Garand action. Even though it's the Mini-14, it's not based off the M14. Stylistically, it looks like the M14, but it's based off of the M1 Garand action. Ruger's been manufacturing these rifles since 1973, so there are a lot of them out there, and they're not all built equally. The earlier serial number models of these have a lot of accuracy issues. Now, this one that I have here is a 5.84, which isn't known for being inaccurate, but one of the most popular modifications for the earlier models of these is an AccuStrut. It's a bar up here that attaches to the barrel and the gas system. And the intent of that is to improve accuracy. If you're looking at a $1,500 rifle and the most popular modification is something to improve accuracy, that's kind of a problem. In its stock form, in its totally stock form, this was a really fun gun to shoot, iron sights. But you can see I made this cheek riser because when I installed this rail with a red dot, it's 2024, you need a red dot. At its stock height, I couldn't get a cheek weld that let me see the red dot. For me, the Mini-14, kind of a relic. It's a piece of history, and it's something that's really fun to shoot, but it's clearly not a performance rifle. You know, you can build out an AR for the same price, you know, not an MSRP, $1,500, but less than MSRP. You find these at retailers for about $900 to $1,000. For $1,000, you can build out an AR-15 that will outperform this rifle in every single way. But there is something about this rifle that makes it really enjoyable to shoot. For the boomers and the fudds, it's really not an obscure rifle. This is like a staple of the 80s and the 90s. And for people living in BAM states, of course they know about this rifle. But for the rest of us in the free world, this is a very odd rifle to own at the price point that it's at. So if you can find one at a good price, I think it's worth picking up. Just know that it's not gonna be your usual basic AR-15 experience, even though it is 223.556.